Your lack of obedience will keep you away from promised land. If you continue to say, I'm going to do it my way, but God, I want what you've promised me, because let me tell you something. God is never going to promise something to you that you don't want. He created you. He knows what you like. He knows your type. He knows. God already knows. And because of that, when we get into this wilderness season, he is preparing us for something that we ultimately desire. And so I encourage each and every person on here that's watching me to lock in, be obedient, okay? Because what God has for you is greater than. What God has for you on the other side of this season is exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask, think, or imagine. And we can delay our promised land by the choices we make in this season, or we can opt our way out of promised land. I actually saw a comment recently that said promised land. Yes, it is promised, but you can opt your way out of promise. No, I can't. Yes, you can. How do I know? The Israelites did it. The Israelites did it multiple times. They opted their way out of promised land. How? Because they did not steward the season that they were in well. And what God calls us to do is to walk in faith. Walk in faith. Not talk in faith, walk in faith. And a lot of what we see is, I love God, I love Jesus, Jesus this, Jesus that. But a lot of people's lives do not reflect an active relationship with Jesus. And that relationship with Jesus, there will be fruit that comes from it. Not perfection, fruit. There ain't no fruit, you got to question the root. Because if you're trying to walk with God, you're going to try to do it God's way. That doesn't mean you're going to get it right all the time. But it does mean that you're actively pursuing the things of God. And those things are not easy. Those things are not boring. Walking with God is not boring. I will tell you that I have had more excitement in these last several months of my life than I've had in probably 8 years. There's been a lot. It's been a lot. But you got to lock in. And I would say it's worth it to lock in, because the peace that I have on this journey, the peace that I have walking this path, there are hard times, and I'm not going to lie about that. That's what this video is all about. But the peace that I've had, even in those hard times, because God is with me and I feel that, has superseded anything else I've experienced. Okay? So in this time, though, when you are in a wilderness season, God is going to call you in and out of relationships, in and out of different things that you might normally have done, in and out of thought patterns, mindsets, all those things. Those things are uncomfortable. I'll tell on myself since we're here. I struggle with the fear of disappointment. Like, to the degree that it paralyzed me. I would not do certain things unless I was sure of an outcome. So in the beginning, God had me do things where I was not sure of an outcome. And I remember I had a moment where God had prompted me to do something that I said I would never do. I'm like, I would never do this. Never do this. And of course, God was like, yeah, no, you're going to do it. Yeah, that's it. You're going to do that. Yep. Now, and y'all, I couldn't even, the conviction was so strong, I couldn't even run away from the thought. And so I was like, God, if I do this, I better get an outcome. I better, because I'm talking real spicy then. I didn't understand. My fear of the Lord wasn't where it needed to be. Because a lot of us, we walk in a rebellion. We walk against what God has called us to do. We don't have no fear of God. You should fear God. Some of y'all more afraid of what that man gonna think or what that female's gonna think. You should be fearing God. Because God can sit you down in ways can't nobody sit you down. God can do things in your world that nobody in your world could do to you. We're more afraid of people than we are of God, and that's mismanaged. We need to get it. We should be fearing God. There are consequences that we see in today's world. We see it on the media. People that have played with God, have utilized God to perpetuate agendas, and God said, "Oh, that's funny. That's funny." Absolutely not. So again, We have to understand that we do not need to be playing with God. We do not need to be playing with God at all, because God is not one to be played with. Okay, so the fear of the Lord should be something that keeps us on the path on some level, because a lot of times, like I said, we're rebellious. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. I don't see why. I don't see how God. I don't see another way. God, like we're rebellious towards God, but we don't understand. You okay? Because anywhere God is calling us, guys, is higher than anything that we could ever choose for ourselves. We don't actually believe that. We believe that our choices, what we want, is better than what God wants for us. I was one of those people. I was one of those people that really felt like if God was, if God was going to send me a man, I'm not going to be attracted to him. I really believe that. I really believe that if the man that God has for me, my body's not going to want to do anything to him. I'm just going to be very completely honest with you. I just really thought like I was going to have to find my way to be attracted to him, find my way to be all the things for this man of God. Like as if not handsome men or men that I'm attracted to love God too, right? That was a misconception. That's a culture thing. Like beautiful women can't love God and really be sold out for God. I see that all the time in my comments. Like there's men that write me every day that are like, I did not believe women like you actually have relationships with God. Like I did not believe they could even complete a coherent sentence or actually have a moral grounding or discipline. I did not believe that even existed. So it's this culture putting out to us that people that we're attracted to can't love God at the same time. It's just impossible. It's not true. Not true. It is absolutely not true. So I believe that. And so I've learned in this time as I've met different people, I've seen different people. I'm like, no, that is not true. There are some beautiful, beautiful women of God that are sold out for God, right? And and guys, that should be something that you should really be looking into, okay? Because if they're holding themselves accountable to God, there's a lot of conversations you don't have to have. Why do I say that? Because I put out content recently, and I don't know when you'll see this video, but I put out content recently where I said, God is preparing me for my next. I already know that. I know that. And there are things that he's checked me about. And I know it's because of whoever he's preparing me for. This, like I did a video, I made a joke about it. I was like, homie, don't play that. Like, homie does not play that. He's not like, listen, y'all, I do fitness influencing, or I've done fitness influencing for years. Okay. 5 years. I work out pretty much 7 days a week. I work out twice a day for 6 of those days. Yeah, 6 of those days. I eat clean. I really try to take care of my body. I really enjoy it. It does something for me. That's just me. I had a check in this time where God was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that anymore. Mm-mm. Yo man don't want nobody watching your body. Mm-mm. He know you fine. he and I was like, oh, okay. So I can't at all. Like not even in the name of fitness influencing and the partnership, because the partnership was great and everything like that. I was like, not even, no. I'll provide another way. It's okay. Keep that to yourself. And in that time, it was more commission. Cover up a little bit more. I'm like, this man must be watching me because God is like really dealing with me. Like, so there's things that if you're talking to a woman of God or you're dealing with a woman of God, God is going to have those conversations for you. And he's not going to let her sleep because he wouldn't let me sleep. He was like, no, you're not doing that. No. I had my hair post. I've been doing my hair post, y'all, for I don't even know how long. And God started convicting me about that too. I'm like, he got a problem with that too? God's like, he don't play, homie, don't play that. My son ain't with it. Cut it out. My son Ain't with it. No. That's cute. That might have been cute. He ain't with it. He not telling you that, but he not with. Mind you, y'all, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not in a current relationship with anybody. Let me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, God, for real? Like, even if I cover up, like, no, the face, all the things that you're doing in the video, yeah, he don't play that. Homie don't play that. My son don't play that. And I'm actually going to save him a conversation because I'm going to make sure you all the way together before you even walk into his presence. Before y'all get together, I got to clean all this up because I'm cleaning him up for you and I'm cleaning you up for him. I was like, okay, God, well, I mean, I was like, okay, God, well, I like me a protective man. I've always said, y'all, I love me a King David. King David was a protector. King David didn't play that. So I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of what I prayed for. So, I mean, it is what it is. I like me a man to tell me stuff. Okay. Y'all see me. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm like, y'all know, I really do. I really do like protective men. I really do. That's like not a game. I actually like that. Some people call it possessive. I call it protective because I'm protective too. Oh, yeah. I'm a lion over mine. Yeah, try it with him. Try it. Okay? Y'all, this is completely derailed. We've gone off track, but try it with mine. Sam about that life. Sam's 100% about that life. But the Lord is redeeming me. The Lord is redeeming. He has. But don't try it. So anyway, y'all, besides the point, I'm saying this to say that God, when we go through a process or when we have a promise, we go through a process. A lot of us resist process because we don't understand. For example, I could have said to God, I don't have no man. So why would I stop this? Like, it's not bad. I'm not showing anything. I'm not being disrespectful to anything. Like, I'm not, there's now again, and this is something that we tend to do. We say to ourselves, oh, well, we're not showing as much as other people show. We're not doing as much other people do. Like, we can start getting to the state of comparison. God's like, no, I'm dealing with you. I don't care what Sally Lou is doing, Susie Q is doing. I'm here with you. This is what you're not going to do. And I was like, okay, God, I trust you. But that doesn't make sense. Not to the world. But again, in this process, that is what this is. There's a lot of things that God is going to call you into and out of, and they're not always going to make sense. He's going to prompt you to make moves. He's going to prompt you to open yourself up in ways, be vulnerable in ways. He's going to prompt you to start channels. He's going to prompt you to, make left and right turns, big shifts in your life, big direction changes that may not make sense in that moment. And you have to be willing to do that. That determines whether you get to promised land, because every step of obedience that you take, not he forces you into, that you take. Because some people take, I'm taking a step of obedience because I lost my job. No, you lost your job. God removed that from you. That wasn't you opting for that. That was God saying, no, you need to sit down and focus on me. Everything else from that moment is the steps of obedience that he's calling you to.